All right, welcome back to another edition of the most dramatic Bachelor recap. We are talking about week 4, episode 4, excuse me, dealing with some allergies, of the Bachelor. So before I get into this episode, let's go back. Let's remember my power rankings from last week. Number 1, I had Madison, Victoria P., Hannah Ann, and Kelly. So Madison, Victoria P., Hannah Ann, and Kelly were my last week's power rankings. Let's talk about this week's episode. Their first stop, they're getting out of the mansion. They're leaving Malibu, and they are headed to none other than Cleveland, Ohio. Everyone was like looking around, very underwhelmed. I'm like, don't get all excited at once. I'm like, but I knew they were going to be impressed. I'm from Ohio. I love Ohio. I've spent lots of time in Cleveland. Cleveland is a great city. It sneaks up on you, especially if you're going there not expecting much. So, mistake by the lake, maybe, but Cleveland, it's better than you think. The girls had a good time. It actually grew on them. I was pretty excited with it. They stayed in a hotel that I've been to. Awesome rooftop bar, very cool place. So first date card, one-on-one, Peter and Victoria F. I've been loving Victoria F. They have a one-on-one, and they're going to none other than Cedar Point. America's rock and roller coaster. Cedar Point is the best amusement park in the world. Why it maybe doesn't have the presentation of a Universal or Disney. It certainly doesn't. But in terms of the rides, if you're a ride warrior, this is the place for you. 72 rides in one park, that's a record. 17 roller coasters, that's the second most in the world. You have the Top Thrill Dragster. It's like a drag race. You're sitting there. There's a crowd. They got the traffic light counting you down until you're going. 420 feet in the air, 120 miles an hour on a clear day from the top. You can see across Lake Erie over to Canada. Wave to our Canadian people north of the border. It's incredible. Steel Vengeance, it's a hybrid coaster. It's brand new. I've ridden it. It's amazing. I've also ridden the Top Thrill Dragster. Not that big of a wuss. Owns, it's a hybrid coaster. It has it's wooden and also steel. It holds 15 records or something crazy. Cedar Point is the best. Sandusky is the best. Callahan Auto Parts. You got the brake pads there. Some Tommy Boy action for you. Sandusky, Ohio is incredible. Ohio is incredible. So they have a great day at Cedar Point. But where things get a little bit interesting is this country concert. And the reason that it's interesting is because it's Chase Rice. And I'm loving this. Chris Harrison, like I've said, I love to speculate, but at this point, I don't know how you can deny me. He is the puppeteer. He is just up there in the rafters, just directing things. He's a showman. He's like Vince McMahon. This is like WWE. The producers, along with Chris Harrison, know that Victoria F. and Chase Rice had a previous relationship. Because apparently, they used to do the hanky-panky, just to kind of keep it PG here. So they bring Chase Rice in for this country concert. Peter doesn't know. Victoria F. didn't know this was coming. Chase Rice didn't know that this was coming. So she turns the corner, and they both kind of lock eyes on each other, and they're like, what is going on here? He's basically singing to her as Victoria F. and Peter are making out and dancing with each other and just, being in the moment, being all, they're on a date, right? Dancing with each other, they're getting physical, they're making out, all that kind of stuff. And it's just crazy. I just can't believe that just the savagery that the producers and the people at ABC have to do this is just incredible. I was hoping that they were going to have to make a decision. Peter would be like, well, what's sexier? His voice and his guitar or my plane? This captain's hat? These wings? What's sexier? Make a choice right now. I'm going to make you make a choice right now. I was waiting for something funny like that. Poor Peter. I mean, he just had no clue. This was like The Office, where Angela is engaged to Andy, but she's sleeping with Dwight, and the entire office knows that she's sleeping with Dwight. Everyone knows in the office, even the people in the annex. I'm pretty sure Toby even knew. Everyone knew except for Andy. So I was expecting a duel, Chase Rice versus Peter for Victoria F., who's our Angela in this situation. I was really hoping that there was going to be a duel. This was crazy. And poor Peter, he was just like, wait, Chase the singer guy? The singer? That guy that Chase Rice, the guy that was singing, the singer guy? Like, he just kept saying it. It was just, it was a little tough to watch, but I thought that they handled it very maturely. Victoria F came right out and said it. We used to be together. We used to have a relationship. But basically she said that she didn't exactly like his, lifestyle and the things that he liked to do. Whatever those things were, she just wasn't fully on board with it, and that's why she ended the relationship. Meanwhile, we cut back to the hotel. There's a group date card. Everyone's on it except for Kelsey, so she gets the one-on-one at the end of this episode. Hopefully it's going to be to send her home. I don't know. Stick around for this to find out. Back to town hall. Peter and Victoria F, they talk it out. They make up. Everything's good. She gets the rose. I'm telling you what, buy Victoria F stock. Get in now. It's not as cheap as it was a few weeks ago before the runway show. But still get in. I think you can still get in on the ground floor and make some good profits. Buy Victoria F stock. It's going to be rising rapidly here as the weeks go on. And now, the group date. This is my worst nightmare. Remember, they're in Cleveland. They're playing a football game. They're playing in First Energy Stadium on the Browns field. The Browns went 6-10 this year. They were supposed to go to the Super Bowl. I didn't believe that, but a lot of people said, oh, Super Bowl, Super Browns, right? They bring in Odell Beckham Jr., all these things. Kareem Hunt, they're supposed to be incredible. They go 6-10. They fired their coach after 1 year. But now I know that it's justified because of the Bachelor curse. The Cavs had the Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson curse. The Indians, right outside of their stadium, right across the street, there's a graveyard. And now the Browns, they had the Bachelor curse. Cleveland truly is the factory of sadness, and it just really hurt. Oh, it really hurt me to see that, because now I knew why the Brown season went so bad. The Bachelor curse. It's very, very obvious. So they play an actual game, and poor Kelly was playing quarterback, and she was like, I just feel bad because Hannah Ann was open all the time, and she was just getting killed out there. But I'm pretty sure it was by design, by the Eliminators, I believe it was, the purple or pink team, whoever it was. The Eliminators, I think, were doing this on purpose. They're like, let's leave Hannah Ann open, and then Tammy, the former varsity wrestler, is just going to come downhill like Troy Polamalu and just crush her every single play. So I think that was by design. Now, interesting, this game, they were playing this game, they were keeping score, and then whoever won got to have this after party, after, group date with Peter. But they tied 28-28. I was ready for someone to grab the mic like Nicole Kidman and just go with it, where she grabs the mic from Dan Patrick when she's in that dance competition with Jennifer Aniston. She's like, what's the tiebreaker? I was ready for that. I was hoping for that, but no one did it. So 28-28 tie, so everyone stays. Everyone stays. They're still going to have this little date party. So everyone stays, and then a bombshell's dropped on us. The ghost of Alea shows up. She comes in, blows a kiss, does a wave like she thinks she's Regina George or something. Like it's straight out of Mean Girls. I'm like, here we go. Here come the Alea theatrics again. So Peter and Alea speak. And then Alea's like, listen, Victoria P was lying. And remember, go back, Victoria P was like, met her at Miss America, Miss USA, whatever. She's, I knew her for a total of 3 hours. She came to me, told me to, not bring it up to the producers that we knew each other, because she claimed that it would have ruined their chances of both being on the show. She felt like they both would have been dismissed from the show or whatever else. So now Peter, now I like this by Peter. He decides, he goes, you know what, I'm going to get Victoria P and Alea together, and we're all going to talk it out. But now Peter's frustrated because Alea's coming at Victoria P with all these things, and whether she's flustered or whether she's caught in a lie, she didn't handle it very well. She just kept doing that thing where she's looking away and she's like, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. And this frustrates Peter because now he's doubting Victoria P, and I don't blame him. In this situation, I'd be like, what is going on? This girl just came back. Maybe both of them have to go? I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do in this situation. Verbal meme, it's like the Spider-Man looking at each other, pointing at each other, and the caption would be Victoria P and Alea trying to prove the other one is the liar. So verbal meme there, kind of put it together, use your imagination. So then, at the group date, Alea just shows up And the rose goes to her? Are you kidding me? This is so disrespectful to all the girls who played in this football game, who were beat up and bruised and just embraced it and had fun with it. And then she just shows up blowing a kiss, doing a little wave and a twirl like she's Regina George or a pageant girl, which she is. I think she's like a hybrid mix. She's like the brunette Regina George. And she gets the rose. Like, that's BS. I didn't like that at all by Peter. And I'm scared for her to stay around because she's like, I feel like she feels invincible, like immortal now, because she's like, I'm back on this show. I got a rose. Not after almost going home. I went home. I was gone for a week or whatever it was. And now she's back. She's like a cat with not only 9 lives, but unlimited lives is what she probably feels like. She's had contact with the outside world. She's like a monster that just keeps gaining strength with everything. The longer that she's around, the more that people come at her. She's like, I've had contact with the outside world. I literally have died in terms of the Bachelor world, died and come back to life. I had been kicked off the show and now I'm back. That's dangerous, especially for someone like Alea. That's some dangerous power right there. Then the one-on-one with Kelsey, she shares some pretty like deep stuff here about her parents' divorce and things like that. So they really kind of connected. Kelsey opens up. She kind of grew on me a little bit here. Wasn't a huge Kelsey fan, but she grows on me a little bit here, and she gets the rose. So good on Kelsey. And now Victoria F. Because Alea dropped the Chase Rice news to everyone because she was in the outside world. None of them have their phones there. So other than her and Peter, no one else in that world, none of the contestants know about the Chase Rice news because they're not on the internet. They're not watching TV. But Alea, like I said, who died and came back to life in terms of The Bachelor, had contact with the outside world, and she was telling everybody, or she told a group of people about the Chase Rice things. And she goes, oh, you guys didn't know that? She drops an all-time Bachelor, just a legendary line. She was like, oh, you guys didn't know that? The internet knows everything. I'm like, oh my God. She's evil, but I kind of love it. I kind of love it for the entertainment value, but it's just not fair to these other girls. And I like a lot of these other girls, and what she's doing right now is just not cool. So Victoria F., I'm telling you what, buy stock in her right now because it's going to be through the roof. It's going to be Amazon here in like 2 weeks. She confronts her, goes up to her hotel rooms and goes up to her hotel room and gives it to her straight. Like really comes at Alea. Like, hey, that's not cool. That is not your place to do that. You shouldn't be doing that. Just not cool at all. And it was amazing. Stood up for herself. She's coming out of her shell. Victoria F., I love her. And also, Victoria F., did she not look amazing on the date? Both at Cedar Point and when she was dressed up and at the rose ceremony? Victoria F. sneakily, she might get, I know Madison and Hannah Ann are gorgeous. It's not all about looks, but if we're talking about looks, Victoria F. may be the hottest bachelor contestant we've ever seen. I don't know. Am I speaking too soon? I don't know. But she has to be in the conversation. I'm just saying. Rose ceremony, 2 girls came out and really confronted Peter. Like really went at Peter here. Just about the stuff that I just said about Alea. Like how that's not cool. We played in this football game and she can just show up and get the rose. Like that's not cool. We might as well have not gotten beat up, not thrown on those pads and done any of that stuff because it was for nothing. Some girl who didn't even participate in that thing got the rose. That's not cool. Peter didn't know what to say. He kind of tried to give a quick apology because he knew he had to talk to other people, particularly Victoria F. about this whole, or Victoria P. about this whole thing. Peter didn't handle this very well at all. Then Peter talks to Victoria P. and she's like, I don't want to talk to you. I will talk to you. And I don't want to sit down. Then she proceeds to sit down. So I'm like, okay, she's trying to play like tough fake guy here. I didn't really know what was going on. But anyway, she's pissed. She's really, really upset. Then Victoria F. and Peter, she's like, listen, Alea just said all this Chase Rice stuff. That's not cool. And it was just messed up. Then Alea and Peter, it's nonsense. I'm going to reference The Office again. I believe when Dwight is the manager and Dwight and Jim come up with their little board, how many days since our last nonsense? Well, you know what? It's been precisely 0 seconds 0 seconds since our last nonsense on The Bachelor. It's all nonsense, especially when it comes down to Alea. It's just crazy. And the episode is to be continued. We haven't seen the rose ceremony yet. We'll see what happens next week. It's going to be exciting. Before I wrap this up, let's go over my power rankings for this week. Number 1, Madison. Jumping in from the outside all the way up to number 2. I'm telling you, get in, buy this stock. Victoria F. Number 3, Victoria P. She's kind of up in the air, though. There might be a little asterisk next to her name because it could be up in the air of what's going on with her. And then number 4, Hannah Ann. So Madison, Victoria F, Victoria P, and Hannah Ann are my power rankings for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching another edition of the Most Dramatic Bachelor Recap. Week 4, I will talk to you guys next Tuesday.